Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about something that I know is going to help a lot of you at home, and it's how to deal with bicep pain and recover from a bicep injury. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I injured my bicep like 8 months ago. I was lifting Atlas stones. I had a 225-pound Atlas stone. I was lifting it over the bar, and it slipped out of my hands, and I went to grab it like this, and that sudden jerking movement caused me to catch the stone, and then every single muscle in my arm, my forearm, my shoulder just tightened up. And that's what happens when you guys get an injury, is all the muscles in the area, they tighten up to try to protect the area that's under the heavy load. And so what happened to me is everything tightened up, and then I was dealing with this injury. I couldn't even do a hammer curl, which is doing this with a dumbbell. I couldn't even do this with 15 pounds. It just hurt so much. And then it gets to a point to where it's just like dull pain in this area the whole time. And I've talked to a lot of people who have had an injury like this before, and they all do the same thing. They just try to like get into this area and massage this area out, thinking that that's, the pain is here. So they massage this area out, thinking that's where the pain is, that's where I need to massage. And it doesn't work like that. I actually go see a professional massage therapist who, my wife gets jealous when I tell her I'm getting a massage, and I tell her, I'm like, well, you wouldn't really like this massage, because I usually screaming the whole time on the table. It's really funny, my massage therapist will be like digging into a knot, and she's like, I'm sorry, because I'm like screaming on the table because it hurts so much. Anyways, that didn't sound right, but you understand what I'm saying. It's because she's trying to dig deep into the muscle tissue and release all this tightness that's going on. And one thing that she taught me is this thing called anatomy trains. And this is super important. You guys should Google the term anatomy trains. And what that basically means is like your muscles are all connected. So you could have an injury in your shoulder, but the tightness in your shoulder could have also be pulling from different parts of your body as well. You could have tightness in your hip that's pulling through your back, that's pulling through your shoulder, but it just happens to be causing most of the pain in your shoulder. So if you have tightness here and it's pulling through all these different areas, but you're only massaging your shoulder to try to get rid of that pain, you're never going to get rid of it because you're not getting to the source of the problem. And so in my case, yeah, I definitely destroyed this area right here, but I also pulled a lot of the muscle tissue in my forearms and my upper arms and in my shoulder as well. And so basically what was happening to me is this area hurt, but it's because there was all kinds of tightness here kind of pulling at that area and all kinds of tightness here pulling at that area. So everything's kind of going like this, and the pain is just resonating all throughout here. And it even got to the point that whenever I would start my workouts, I do shoulder breakers where I take a bungee and I go up and over like this. Every single time my elbow would just pop so loud, and it's because of how tight the area was. And so anyway, so she taught me this, and obviously she worked on my arm for a while, and then she introduced me to the anatomy trains and told me that I should be, trying to massage the area myself at least, every other night. And so that's why I have this. This is called a Theracane, and this is relatively cheap. You can buy it online, but it's basically just a massage tool that I can use to dig into certain areas. And so if you have bicep pain, this is what I want you to try. First off, if you're going to use something like this, I recommend getting some oil or some lotion, because doing this on your bare skin is going to burn and hurt like crazy. You want it to be like a smooth, gliding motion so that the focus can be on attacking the muscle strands and following the line as far as you can. And you don't want all that friction from the Theracane to stop you in your tracks or cause you to suddenly like push forward too fast or anything. So I'm going to take a step back and put a little bit of this lotion on my chest. But what I've been doing for the past couple months, every single week, and I do this usually before bed as I'm watching TV, is I'll spend like 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, and I do this on both sides too, guys. Don't just do the area that hurts. Make sure you're doing both sides, because you want, obviously, to make sure that both sides are loose. You could have some pain in the other arm too that you maybe don't know about yet, or something that's festering there. It's always good to do both sides. Don't just work on one side. Anyways, I got some lotion on this arm now, so it's not going to hurt. But instead of attacking the area where the pain is, which is here, because just doing this, and even if I get this knob in there, and I like dig in, and I dig in, and I dig in, it might feel good, it might feel like you're loosening things up, but yeah, you're loosening this area, but all the tightness here and here is eventually just going to keep pulling and get that area tight again too. So what you have to do is kind of start from different points and then follow the entire line. So follow the anatomy train. And so what I had been doing is starting in my chest, and I didn't even think that I had this tightness in my chest that was pulling through my shoulder, which was then pulling through my bicep. But her name, my massage therapist, her name is Renee. But Renee told me, she's like, yeah, you have some strands that are tight in your chest that are starting to pain. And as soon as she went like this and just started digging in, I mean, I could feel the tension. Like, it hurt a lot, but it worked. So what I do is I take this point right here and I kind of dig in to my chest and I just look for where there's tightness, and I kind of just follow the tightness and I follow the chain. And then when I get to my shoulder, guys, I don't skip it. I push through my shoulder and I'm going into the bicep. And then what I'm going to do is follow down the bicep, and I'm still pushing as hard as I can. I'm trying to find the tension. And then I'm going to push through the area that hurts. And then once I get here, I'm going to continue to follow down my forearm all the way down. And then I'm going to go out and over my wrist. And it's kind of like when you squeeze a tube of toothpaste, you know how like everything kind of pops out at the end? It's weird, but you can kind of feel the tension just kind of being pushed out all the way down through your hand if you do that. And so I already started here. I mean, you guys can see the red line where I started. So then the next time what I'll do is I'll start a little higher, and I'll try and go through my shoulder a different way. And then I'll try to go over my bicep a different way. And then I'll follow that line as best as I can. I'll go through my forearm. Maybe this time, it'll take me down the backside of my forearm and then the down backside of my wrist. And I kind of push through. Sorry, guys, I know I wasn't showing you. But I'll kind of push through here and then push through my palm, and I'll push it out. Or maybe I'll get even more creative and I'll use this to try to start in my back. And I'll kind of use this to kind of go over my back. And then I'll grab it and go down my shoulder and follow that line as best I can down my arm as well. And basically I'm just trying to find as many points as I can to where there might be tension or roughness. And who knows, maybe some of these are pointless. Maybe I'm attacking points that don't need to be massaged, but at the end of the day, I don't really know exactly where the tightness is stemming from. I don't have x-ray vision. I don't know exactly, how things are pulled inside of here, where the pain is stemming from. But I will tell you guys that after 2 weeks of doing this myself, I went from having so much pain I couldn't even do a hammer curl to being able to comfortably do my workouts. I still had a bit of tension in this area. It was still bothering me. It took me a while to start getting back to my heavy deadlifts, but if I wasn't doing this on my own, the pain would have never went away. And I guess that's the biggest point I want to make with this video. So a few things, guys. Number one, I want you to Google search anatomy trains. I want you to check out the Theracane. Get it for yourself. It's an amazing thing to have at home. And when you have pain in your body, don't just massage that one area. Like, try to start at different points to go through the area and try to release as much tension as possible. And that's the main point of this video. If there's pain, if you have bicep pain, it's not because just the bicep hurts. Like I said, when you have an injury, the way your body compensates for the injury, the way your body tries to protect itself, is to get as tight as possible, tight up all the muscles so that nothing snaps or breaks. But then unfortunately, those things remain tight for a long time, and it's not just going to go away on its own. It's not the kind of injury like you cut yourself, then your body kind of reacts and heals the cut, and then you're fine. When you have an injury like this, where you pull a muscle or a tendon's tight or anything to do with that, it's not going to go away on its own. It's no amount of time is going to make it go away. Like, for example, when people have back problems, okay? They're like, oh, my back hurts, my spine's out of alignment, I'm going to go see a chiropractor. Well, it's great that you go see a chiropractor, but as soon as you leave the office, the chiropractor's going to adjust your bones and make them straight again. But as soon as you leave and you go back home, all the tight muscles are just going to pull your spine back out of alignment again. So it has to be a combination of relaxing the muscle tissue and realigning the bones if you're going to see a chiropractor. But I don't want to dive into that stuff too much. I wanted to keep this talking about how to get over a bicep injury. And again, check out the Theracane, guys. Check out the anatomy trains. And, start from your chest, start from your shoulders, or even start the opposite way. Start from your wrist and kind of go up and go through your bicep and through your shoulder and out over your chest. Find as many ways as you can to attack that area. And in a couple weeks, you're going to feel like new. So, a little different video, but I had a serious injury. This is how I dealt with it, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and if you haven't already, turn on video notifications so you never miss a new video upload from me. Hope you guys have a great week, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.